I'm Kate. I'm here with Michael today, and we're here to talk to some of our primary school students about the best ways to make friends when you're at school. So, Michael, I know that this is something you've seen lots of, and like you, I found it pretty tricky when I was in kindergarten and year 1 and year 2 to make friends. What were the biggest things that you learned about making friends at school?
Yeah. Do you know what? I used to have a lot of trouble making friends when I was in primary school. I used to think maybe there's something wrong with me because I don't have enough friends and people don't like me. And what I had to learn was it's not about me saying the right things to make people like me. It's about me caring about others. Because if I care about people, then I will have friends. So the first thing I had to do was I had to learn to stop teasing people all the time. I used to tease people, and then I wondered why people didn't want to be my friends. It was because I wasn't being very nice. So for me, number one is make sure you're speaking nicely to people. Make sure you're being the sort of person others would want to hang out with. What about you, Kate? What can you think of that we need to tell people?
Well, it might sound a bit silly, but I remember thinking that I was different or funny or strange looking or sounded weird because I was really conscious or really aware of all the things that I was doing, or maybe the things that I was doing differently to other people. And it wasn't until I was much older that I realized that everyone feels that way. Everyone feels different, everyone feels weird, and that's why people don't always talk to each other. So when I thought, oh, why don't I just say hi to someone new, they didn't think I was weird, they were just happy I was saying hello. So when you're nice to someone, even if you don't know them yet, just remember that they feel as funny and strange as you do.
That's so true. Because how often do you see two young people who they're not saying hello to each other because they're both scared of each other?
They're scared. But we're all scared. Everyone is just as scared as you are. Even if people are in a group, they're still feeling scared. So if you can just say hello to someone, it might actually make their day feel a whole lot happier. Imagine if you're having a bad day and you haven't spoken to anyone, and then someone you don't know walks up to you and says, "Hi, how are you going today?" You would feel so good, and you can do that for someone else.
Oh, they're good tips, Kate. And what about with the situation where someone has got a good friend or they've got some friends, but their friends are being mean to them? What do they need to remember on a day like that?
That's really tricky, and we have to remember that people are still learning how to be good friends. So even though they might be a bit mean that day, and that's not really okay to be mean to other people, that doesn't mean they'll be mean tomorrow or the next day. You'll probably still be able to be friends with that person.
Yeah, and when they are being mean to us, it's probably important as well that we don't get really, really cranky at them because then tomorrow they'll remember how cranky we were.
But it's also important to be able to say what you're doing is a bit mean, and it's not okay for you to be mean to me, because you don't have to be treated badly. But know that everyone is trying to work out how to be friends with each other, and sometimes if people are being mean, they don't really want to hurt your feelings, they haven't realised they've done it.
And then what about if say someone who's watching, they've had a really tough day, how do they go about talking to their parents about that? Because sometimes that can feel embarrassing.
I can, and I think what we all need to remember is that almost everybody in the whole world has felt like someone has been mean to them. So when you go home and you are not sure whether or not to tell mum or dad or to tell your teacher, they will understand. So if I come home and say, Michael's been really mean to me today and it made me feel really sad, there is nothing to feel embarrassed about. They will understand that and they're able to help. So Michael, when you're with your friends, what things do you like them to do for you?
I like them to speak nicely to me. I like my friends to ask me how I'm going, to ask me about my day, to ask me about things I'm interested in. Like I love soccer and I love things like sports, and so I love it when people ask me about that. And if people ask me about that, then I feel valued and I feel cared about.
Yeah. And I think those are all the things you do for other people. So when Michael's making friends, he says, "Hi, how are you going? How has your day been? What did you do today?" And he asks about how they're going, and he really cares about it. And that's what makes him a good friend. So when you're practicing being a good friend, think about the things you want people to do for you and do that for other people.
How good is that? So your challenge this week is to go and be a good friend to others. So don't worry about others treating you well. You go and treat others well and see the impact it has and see how much it makes it so that you will end up with friends.
And have fun.